Hey guys, welcome back. I wanted to do something a little different for this channel today, so stick around, should be fun. Hey guys, I wanted to do a different type of video for this channel and just sort of introduce myself. I figured this is sort of long overdue. Maybe just get to know you guys a little bit better and start using this platform more to answer questions and help others learn about sculpture and getting into sculpting. And yep. So I guess let's get started. My name is Chris Vierra. You guys know me as Sculpture Geek, and I'm a commercial sculptor. I've been sculpting for about 14 years now. I'm really passionate about video games. I love video games. Probably not smart enough to make video games, so I sculpt. That's really sad. One of the biggest questions that I get asked is what type of material I'm using. It's called Chavant NSP. This is an oil-based clay that's very soft and pliable when it's warm and accepts detail very well when it's cool. It's basically like delicious sculptor's butter. Don't eat it. It's really good. It's really tough stuff when it's cool and just takes detail really well. But you can see in the videos when I'm spreading it on the piece or kneading it between my hands and then applying it onto the piece, how soft it is. So it gives itself a nice body to work on. I get a lot of questions about firing the clay or what I do with the sculpt afterwards. And this type of clay, if you were to put it into a kiln, it would just melt into a liquid. So this clay will remain in a workable state forever. You can take the finished piece and put it on a shelf until you decide to mold it, or you can just melt it down and reuse it for another sculpt. And then from that, you make a perfect copy, also known as a casting. And you can use a lot of different materials as well, but it's usually a liquid resin that turns into a solid plastic, just like this. That way you can make more than one copy or just a copy that you can paint. And this here is that raw casting. As you can see, it's now a hard plastic. It was pigmented gray. It started off as sort of a creamy white color. And that's just to help show a little bit of detail better. This isn't quite the right lighting to do that, so if you want to see more detailed shots, just check my social media pages or website. Most of the time, I don't mold anything that I sculpt for this channel because I actually prefer the look of a raw sculpture. And molding, casting, and painting a piece is a lot of added work for something that I planned on doing for fun. Also, I can't sell any of it since it's mostly just fan art of licensed characters. But I do have some original sculpts planned and some artist reference pieces like this one here that'll be available on my website for sculptors and illustrators. Now, before you start sculpting with clay, you're gonna need to make an armature, and that's basically just a skeleton or understructure that the clay will adhere to. Usually it's made out of wire. There's all different types of wires. This is 1/8 and 3/16 armature wire. These are the most common types that I use. I've got an old roll here, and it's strong but flexible, and you really want to use the right kind of wire. It's aluminum wire, but you don't want to use armature wire that's too strong. So a lot of the times you'll end up just bundling this up and twisting it together. You want it to be posable enough, but definitely strong enough to hold the weight of the clay. If you want to just grab some clay and start sculpting and messing around without making an armature, you can get away with it, probably like a little head or a bust or something like that. But it's always a lot easier when you do have the armature, because it just supports the clay so that it doesn't sag and fall down and become frustrating while you're working. So every time you see me do this, that's just making an armature to start with. And the aluminum foil comes in because all that does is quickly bulk the piece out and just save a little bit of weight, time, and material. It's a lot faster to just bulk it with tin foil and then add the clay over that than it is to just do a piece out of solid clay. So to start with, you warm this clay up, and usually I'll just put it into a microwave safe dish like this one. And then you can see since this is cold, it's actually quite hard. And just put that in for a few minutes. Make sure that you test it every so often, because this clay is actually heat stable. So it will have the appearance of unwarmed fresh clay on the outside, but if you go to touch it, it will be liquid on the inside and it can burn you really badly. So I'm not responsible for that. Do it at your own risk. Be smart. Maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Every microwave is different, so I can't tell you what to set your microwave to. You can warm it up in a conventional oven as well, but the microwave's a lot faster. Then to keep that whole setup warm while I'm working, I take that whole dish and put it into a clay oven, which is just a fancy term for a cardboard box with a hole cut in the top and a light pointing down. The whole thing's insulated with tin foil. I did a tutorial on making one a long time ago on my blog, so just go check that out. I'll leave the link down below. And the last thing you're gonna need to get started is tools. I got tools, bruh. Rake tools, loop tools, spatulas, serrated tools, texture tools, hardwood tools, ribbon loops, hobby knives, metal scrapers, torches, more detailing tools, and sponges. Now you just use all these in conjunction with each other to add, subtract, and shape the clay.
Okay. Do it.
This isn't meant to be a tutorial by any stretch. It's just a quick introduction to myself and some of the tools and materials that I use to create the content for this channel. I'd really like to start using this platform to do some smaller projects, some sketches and stuff, talk about the larger projects, and just generally help anyone that wants to get started sculpting with clay. So I guess let's sculpt something. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I always wanted to sculpt that version of Mario back when he was called Mr. Video or Jumpman. I just love the original design and the history behind it. I have some of these Donkey Kong collectible cards from when I was a kid, and you can see this is the original art that this sculpt is based off of. And well, the art's cool. So the footage from the beginning of this video was taken at an arcade in New Hampshire, here in the United States, called Fun Spot, and it's sort of a place that has withstood the test of time. I've been going there for almost 30 years. Every time I walk through those doors, though, it's like a slightly updated time warp. Anyway, I thought it was appropriate to include some footage from a recent trip that I took there, since those are some of the earliest memories that I have of playing games. Now, this sculpt was just a quick sketch that wasn't really meant to be taken to a fine finish. It's just a way to kind of keep the chops up and to sort of scratch the itch of sculpting a character that I didn't want to spend a ton of time on. I have so many other subjects that I'd like to tackle. Sketching is a really good way for me to be able to do that, and it can also be sort of a good crash course for anybody that wants to learn how to sculpt, because you can see a piece come together really quickly without getting hung up too much on the details or worrying about engineering the piece for production or molding or anything like that. Plus, I love rake marks, and I probably spent more time raking it down than actually sculpting the piece. So if you want to see more videos like this, let me know in the comments below. Like I said, I already have a long list of characters that I'd like to get to, but I would also love to hear what you guys would like to see, so let me know. Also, don't worry about the cinematic videos, those aren't going anywhere. This is just a way for me to do more with this channel. Finally, if you haven't seen it yet, check out my latest full-length sculpting video, which is my tribute to Toys R Us. It's, this guy here. Hopefully they can make a full comeback. I'm rooting for them. Oh, one more thing. I've been watching this YouTube University channel, and they say that at the end of every video, it's very important that I ask you guys to